Hello, it's your boy Mr. CV. I'm back with another special video, and I'm ready to go on Wa'ala Wednesday. Now I'm gonna make this Wa'ala Wednesday very quick. I always say that about all my videos, but this one I have to make it quick because, as you can see, I'm just getting myself ready to go to work. But I thought, let me make this Wa'ala Wednesday just before I go, so that obviously it doesn't take too much time. So I'm gonna go straight into it, like I always say, which my motto stands for. Like I said, life is a CV. Make your CV the best you can. And someone even said to me yesterday, make hay whilst the sun shines. I don't really know what that means, but I always hear that saying quite a lot. That saying just means make the most of the opportunity when you have the time and energy. That's the way I understand it. But if you understand it differently, definitely drop a comment below or share your thoughts and understanding. And like I always say, Yoruba as well, Wa'ala tikpoju. And like I say in Pidgin English, Wa'ala no dey finish. 2 weeks ago I did my Wa'ala Wednesday, which I shared about different scenarios, and the prayer I always pray to God as well, as I'm also sharing my opinion and my advice, and people are watching. May God not allow me to say something that will put me in trouble. I'm gonna go straight into this part, with my motto being life is a CV. Make your CV the best you can. So like I said, you are a CV, you as a person. It's not about just your written CV on the paper. It's you. Make yourself the best you can, the best version of yourself. Make yourself more confident, socially, physically, mentally, how confident you can be. So now let me do the first one. This one says, before going to a course abroad, they said it was going to be taught in English, but when I got there, it was taught in their language. Now, I've tried fighting them, but to no avail. Should I quit? They said if I quit, I have to pay off all the money I owe them, even for the semesters that I didn't do. Wow. Now, this is for those people that obviously they go abroad to do different courses. They study in different courses. Like, for example, I know some people have told me that when you go to places like Germany, for example, one of the biggest problems about studying in Germany is that some of them you have to speak German, which can be quite tricky because trying to learn a language itself, a new language, can be very difficult. And obviously it's even more difficult if now you have to study in that language when you haven't even picked up the language. So in this kind of scenario, best thing is probably just to make sure that they teach in a language that you understand, which obviously in this scenario from this person is in English. But obviously the kind of threat they're also giving her, saying if she quits, she has to pay off all that money. Because I do know a lot of people, only recently, but a lot of people do go abroad to countries such as Poland, Czech Republic, to go and study medicine, because obviously their currency is much cheaper than if you went to places like USA, UK, and the money does cost a lot. For me, I think the best thing is, before you take up any courses, make sure that they teach in a language that you understand. If it was a requirement to learn that native language before going on the course, make sure you've done your research, because the last thing you want to do is be in this kind of situation when you end up at the course and then obviously you're not able to understand what they're teaching you because you don't understand the language, and then obviously it just makes it very difficult. And also this got me thinking as well, because I do know there's a lot of people that come into the UK as well that don't speak any English, and when they go to school here they also find it difficult because they don't understand what the teacher's teaching. So obviously if it's that difficult for them, obviously for you as well here, I'm sure it's going to be extra difficult. So my best advice on this situation is go to a place where, or do research beforehand to make sure that they're teaching the language that you understand, if it's English or whatever language you understand. Or if they're teaching their native language, are you willing to learn their native language as well to make it easier for you to understand? Because that will make it much easier for you, and that will be beneficial for you, because you don't want to go there, spend a couple years, and then you don't immerse yourself in the language. But also as well, when you are going to these courses as well, do know that you are going to a different country, different language. So you have to try your best to try and embrace it and immerse yourself in that community, in that language as well. Someone like myself, if I went to a country now, I would try and my possible best to learn the language. That'll make it more easier for me to fit in than if I didn't. Like I said, before you go to any of these courses, make sure you do a bit of research beforehand, just to be sure that they're teaching in that language, and for you to ensure that you don't go there and it feels like a waste of time, and it gets to the point where if you don't study the rest of the course, they're gonna have to charge you. But also as well, I think in this kind of situation is best to take it to the local authority as well, or the dean of the school, where obviously they can look into this, and I think that's probably the best. Is the next one. I work in a school and my children also go to the same school I work in. However, I didn't feel like they're making progress at the school. Should I remove them from the school and also leave, or should I remove them and stay? This is more like a tuition than a proper school. So what this person is trying to say is, so they work in like maybe like a tuition center, and their children also go into that school. But obviously, whilst they're working in that tuition center, for example, they might be in a different class from their children. They might not be in the same class as their children. So the question they're asking is, they don't feel like their child is making progress. So should they remove themselves from that school, or should they continue working in that school? Now that's a very tricky one, because by their children going to that school, they're probably getting the tuition for free just because the mum or the parent is working at that school. So obviously, if they remove their children from that school, go to another school, obviously they're gonna have to pay another different tuition. They have to pay, and with the cost of living, recession and stuff, that might be very costly for that parent at that time. Personally, it's a very tricky one. The reason why it's a tricky one is obviously due to the cost and everything, you might want to stay in that school just because tuition is probably free, it's probably cheaper, and it's just better as well for you because you are there at the same time as your children. But at the end of the day, it's about making progress as well. And if you feel like your children are not making progress at that place, then obviously that's where you got to make that decision. Personally, I don't want to say this is what I would do, this is not what I would do, because I'm not in that situation, so I can't really say. I can only tell you what I feel. In this situation, I think it's important to remove sentiments. The reason why I say about removing sentiments is if you want to put sentiment into it, then you feel guilty that I don't want to remove my kids, what would they say, what would that. But if you solely focus on progress and the progress of the children, then that's where you got to remove sentiments and actually move them to another school or another place or another tuition center. But then also as well, the way you will approach something that you're paying for will be completely different from the way you might approach something that is for free. Now, I don't know whether they're paying for this or it's for free, but I'm just assuming it's for free, as the parent is also working at the tuition center. So obviously, if you're paying for something, you can be on someone's case and be like, no, I don't like this, I don't like that. But obviously, if something is done for you for free, you might be more reluctant and be like, no, I don't want to do this. You might feel guilty, like, saying, look, my children are not making progress, because they might be looking and thinking, you're getting this for free and still you're complaining, and they might think, you're not grateful. So that's why I said you got to remove sentiments. If you remove sentiments from this, then obviously you can be able to make the right decision on what you feel. Whatever decision you make, that's totally up to you. I can't really say do this, because I don't think there's any one way is right. But if it's solely about the progress of the children, then of course you will move the children to another tuition center or place that you feel they can make progress. But if you have that element of guilt and thinking, what would they say, then obviously you probably end up keeping the children. If someone has a better solution, drop in the comment section and I would like to know what your thoughts are. Okay, this one. I want to go chill with the boys on the weekend, but my girl says she wants to go with me. What should I do? Wow. Now this one, obviously these people are in a relationship. Obviously this sounds like a lot of trust issues from the girl's side, but also she might be entitled to have those trust issues. Maybe the guy has said before that he wanted to go and chill with his boys and he's gone to somewhere else. So obviously that's not giving the girl confidence to say, I'm happy, or I don't want to say I'm allowing you, because obviously we're talking about grown adults here. If you're in a relationship as well, obviously you gotta communicate with your partner and let them know, just so that they're aware. Obviously, like I said, the trust issues could come from the girl, in the sense that the guy might have lied or might have said that he's going to his boy's place, and then all of a sudden the girl finds out that he actually didn't go to his boy's place, he went to somewhere else. And obviously that might have created a bit of fear from the girl's mind and think, you know what, I don't really want to take those chances, let me go with him. It might also be a case where she might want to just go with him just because maybe it gives them something to do, or maybe she just wants to be around him. That's also another case. It might be a case on the guy's side where the guy thinks he just wants to just spend some time away from his partner, because as much as you're in a relationship with your partner, you do need some time for yourself as well. You do need some time to do your things. Or before someone got into the relationship, obviously they had friends beforehand. So I don't believe just because you're in a relationship now you should forget all your friends and neglect all of them and not go and see them. Obviously you're not going to see them as often as you did before you was in a relationship, but once in a while, to give you that time apart, but also to give you that time and space as well. You might chill with your boys as well. You might do something different. They say when people are apart, it makes them miss their partner more. So maybe that's also a good thing. But like I said, if she wants to go with you, maybe the guy just needs to speak to his girl and tell his girl that, look, listen, trust me. Just give her that reassurance that, listen, he's just only going to chill with his boys. Nothing's going to happen. Maybe once he gets there, might even video call her just to give her that calmness, to say, look, I'm with my boys, and just communicate with her, because maybe this is a lack of communication. But like I said, it's just about giving her that reassurance that nothing is happening, and also the girl understanding as well that he's just only going to chill with his boys, and he's not only going there for maybe a couple hours or so. I don't know how long, but obviously she's going to be with him for hopefully the rest of her life. So I don't see what's the rush, but that's just that part. I'm going to do one more before I go, and then that's it. Like I said, this one's a quick one. Okay, last one. Some girl I was seeing at the time, she asked me for transport money to come visit me, and I gave her. However, she never came and claimed she didn't receive the money, which she did. What should I do? Wow. I don't know. Do people still do this kind of stuff these day and age? I don't know. But obviously, God will judge all of you. God will judge everybody. On this situation, God is going to judge everybody, because if you're collecting transport money, which you say you're going to visit the guy or whatever, I don't know what the relationship is between both of you guys, and then you decide you don't want to go, that's between you and the guy, and that's between you and God. Whether you receive the money or not, obviously it's a bit easier now with obviously modern technology to know whether someone received the money or not, just because you've got things such as bank transfers. Once you send money to someone, as long as you don't get the details incorrect, obviously you'll get a notification that, oh, the money has been sent. If the person now say they didn't receive it, which they did, obviously that's why I said God will judge all of us. I'm a person with principles. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Even if it takes me long to do it, I just try and communicate with the other person and say, listen, I'm going to do this thing, but it might take me longer. In this kind of situation, obviously, like I said, I don't know the relationship between the guy and the girl, why she decided to do that kind of stuff. If she did, because we're only assuming that she did, in the sense that she didn't receive the money. If she says she didn't, then obviously, I don't know. But if she did receive the money and she didn't fulfill that agreement of going to see the guy like she said, then that's deceit, to be honest with you. That's a lie. That's deceit. As a person of integrity, if you really know you're not going to go and visit the guy, or you're not going to fulfill what you and the guy agreed on, then the best thing to do is, first of all, don't tell the guy to send the transport money. Or if you did get the money, instead of saying you didn't get the money, just send the money back to the guy. And then it's simple as that. And like I said, I always say to people, it's important to learn to say no. Because I think a lot of people, we've grown up in the sense where we find it very hard to say no because we feel guilty. If I say no, I'm going to feel guilty about this. No. Sometimes, if you really believe in something and you really stand on what you believe in, be upfront and say no. Obviously, it's not all the time you can be upfront, because there's a time and place for it. But there are some times where you got to say, listen, this is what I believe in. This is why I'm going to do my things. And I'm not going to take it like this. So, listen, this situation, I don't want to put myself in this situation. And I'm going to let it go. Because there are some people that put themselves in certain situations, and then the consequences of it, they start complaining afterwards. No, you should not complain, because you put yourself in certain situations. So certain situations too come with certain consequences. But if you are someone that does something like this, please go and stop. Or please learn to say no. Or please learn to stand up and have principles and say, listen, if you know you're not going to do it, don't take the money and don't put yourself in that situation. If you did take the money and then you don't do it, then that's bad on you. That is very, very bad on you. Because like they say, agreement's not agreement. Agreement is agreement, which means if you agree on something, you stick to that agreement. You don't agree on it, then go behind their back and try and change it. So I'm going to leave it there. It's your boy Mr. CV. Like I said, this one's a very quick one, unlike the other ones before. I've had to speed through this one, but as always, it's your boy Mr. CV. And like I will say, if you have any scenarios, anything you want my advice on, or you want me to say what my opinion is, like I said, my opinion are not fact. They're just things that I think. They're just ways that I believe. I think about them. I think what's the best solution. And none of these things are scripted, because as I'm talking to you, I haven't written anything down. I'm just speaking what comes to my mind. This is what I think. This is my thought process. This channel is a form of expression for me. Some people have said, do this video, pick a niche, do that. I'm not picking any niche. My channel is a form of expression for me. It's a form of expression of what I think, what I believe, how I see things. So this is just me. This is just way of expressing myself. So it's your boy Mr. CV. Like I always say, while I know they finish, problem never finishes. Problem know they finish. Problem never finishes. Even after all these scenarios that I'll do, I'm sure more scenarios are gonna come up. And if you wanna ask for my scenarios, you wanna give me any scenarios that you think I can speak on, drop it in the comment section, or write it in the email that is in the description, and I can take it from there. As always, is your boy Mr. CV. Have a fantastic day wherever you are, and keep watching your boy Mr. CV. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing the channel, and together we are gonna make it to the top. Have a nice day.